Happy New Year. I hope your year is starting off with splendid possibilities. And I'm really glad you're here. And I'm so happy to be sharing what I love with you, which is what I decided to many years ago to end a year with letting go of the things that were good to let go of, and in being clear and open to embrace the things that healed me, made me happy, gave me joy, made my life more what I wanted it to be, helped others, maybe inspired others to do what makes them happy, to give themselves permission to be creative, step into the creative flow, to heal, enhance their lives, and help the planet. The more righteous resourcefulness, I like to call it, we use what's around us, our own imaginations, instead of just driving and shopping and running around. But the more we settle into that beautiful freedom of our own imaginations and that flow of creativity that increases our happiness, the happier we are, the more we contribute happiness and serenity to the world that really needs it. It's always needed it, but it's never needed it more than now. And now is all we have. So let us give ourselves permission to do what gives us joy, a sense of purpose, which is also what makes for the longest, healthiest, highest quality lives, is doing what gives you a sense of purpose, what gives you the healing of expressing our emotions, feeling free to be ourselves. That's creativity. And stimulate our immune system by expressing ourselves creatively. So today's show on New Year's Day, I'm going to be sharing what I love to share with you, because I love I love every kind of art, artistic expression. I love to dance, I love to play the bamboo flute, I love to do home decor, I love to do clothing. Here's my stencils on this kimono, the crane stencils. And I've done a lot of stenciling on clothing that I've shared in many videos. And now I'm on to sharing what we can use stencils for on paper. So here's a series of 10 note cards. Today I'm going to paint in front of you prints with the same stencils, only they'll be full because the print paper is larger. These are available. I think we have 9 out of the 10 available, soon the 10th one. And I'm just going to keep going because I have 300 stencil designs to share. And I decided to share stencils, and my son, Bodhi, his YouTube channel, Bodhi the Movie Maker YouTube, is my technical help, and he's made my stencils into SVGs, scalable vector graphics, which you can download on your computer any size you like. Use them for clothes, for prints, for cards, for book journal covers, for on platters, on walls. I've got many videos on the Creativity Show, my YouTube channel, that all these videos go up on as soon as we're done with this virtual visit, I like to call it. And so there's how to. I've shown cutting stencils from plants you find in your garden that you trace and cut with the scissors, the simplest way, to with the Cricut cutter. I've used a hot knife, I've used a razor blade, and then I got a Cricut cutter because with 300 designs, it's really nice to have that. So you can do it any way you like, and I've got lots of how-to for you to choose from. Fabrics, papers, walls, platters, even furniture I've done with stencil designs. So let us talk a little bit before I get into painting this in front of you about my tradition of starting the year open-minded, open-hearted. So I have a tradition that I call at the end of the year, all the things that went into the WTF file that hurt me, confused me, discouraged me, frightened me, that people have done or said. All those things are in that WTF file, which stands for what the fuck. I try throughout the year to transform them into, well, that's funny. Another way to use the WTF file. So I take the things that hurt, scared me, confused me, discouraged me, like the woman who said I should cut off all the dead stuff, my hair. And I just walked away. That's what I do when people are what I consider disrespectful. I didn't think that was a supportive, helpful way of putting that. And so it took me a little bit to get over the hurt and transform it from what the fuck to, well, that's funny. Thinking about, well, as soon as our hair comes out of our scalp, it is technically dead. So should we shave our whole bodies? By her philosophy, cutting off the dead stuff. So once I make it funny, it doesn't hurt anymore. So that's my job, is to find a way to take what people say and forgive them for it, make it funny, something I get something out of, get a little chuckle, and then I can forgive them whatever insecurity, lack of feeling good about themselves that would get them to say something that, well, uncaring. And like the women that have said, you must have been beautiful when you were young. Well, after I heard it 3 times, I came up with, and I was able to say it to the 3rd woman. So immediately went in the, well, that's funny file, because I'd already heard it a few times, which was, it's the beauty in the way we act, our behavior in this world, that matters the most. So I just keep getting more beautiful, because I never snap back when people hurt me. I will defend my innocence and anyone else's if necessary, but most of the time I just walk away and don't engage in that kind of snarkasm, I like to call it. So it is the beauty that we bring into the world, how we love the world, the environment, all races, all belief systems, all people, all animals, plants, the air, the water, all of it, that makes us beautiful. That is true beauty. And so we can keep increasing that, and we don't have to go along with that if we're not young, we're no longer beautiful. Who made up that ridiculous notion?
Rose Boyajian said, WTF, absolutely the way to go.
I barely heard you, Bo, so I saw you come on, but I could barely hear you.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. We have so many technical things going on. I mute the computer in her room so that I don't echo, but of course she can't hear me, but you guys can. So I'm going to turn myself down. Rose said, WTF, absolutely the way to go. So beautiful now, Claire.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I just got to get her screen in there or something so she...
I can barely hear you, but I did hear it a little bit. So thank you. Thank you, Rose. And it's our job to not let the discouraged people discourage us. It's our duty. If someone hurts us, it's their responsibility. The hurt that they caused is their responsibility, but healing it is always our own. So I just, walk away and try to process it until I get a laugh out of it. And then I'm healed. And then I can forgive them for saying things like, you must have been beautiful when you were young, as if I have no beauty left, as if wisdom and experience is not beautiful. I do not agree with that broken world system that, well, quite frankly, Hollywood has promoted. I've heard from people in that industry, no one wants to see a woman over 40, sometimes over 30, sometimes 25. It keeps getting younger in front of a camera, but I'm just getting in front of a camera regularly because I've got grants to do so. And my son, I'm so grateful, asked me to collaborate with him and named us Mother Son Productions and Storytellers. He's a movie maker. I'm a multimedia artist, and it's all about the story. So the story is, how do we keep going? How do we let go of the hurt? How do we forgive them? And move on with an open mind, clear heart, all of our energy towards something that gives us joy and fulfillment and helps others. So that's what it's all about. And to those who say things like that, I forgive them, imagining that maybe they didn't even feel beautiful when they were young. And maybe they believe that once a woman is past childbearing years, or before that, the sexy years, and then we're supposed to just take care of kids, and then everybody else, and then the grandkids, and that's all we're supposed to do. No, the longer we live, the more experience and wisdom we have, and that is beautiful. So I'm not going along with that confusion, and I forgive them, and I can't even see their faces in my mind now because I've let go. So now I'm ready to do what makes me happy, which is creating. So I'm going to actually do some printmaking stencils here in front of you. I'm going to take off my kimono because it's pretty warm, and I'm going to show you this process. Before I do, I'd like to ask Bodhi to come back on while I'm setting up and share his end of the year, end of 1 year, beginning of the next year tradition or policy or whatever you want to call it. So.
Can you hear me?
Barely.
Cool.
But if they can hear you, that's good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'd just like to, at the end of the year, try my best to be grateful for what I've gotten done that year and not focus so much on the New Year's resolution hype and stuff, but more take stock of what I've accomplished and what goals I achieved. And that's a great way to begin the next year on a high note. And, so I try to take account of everything. And as an artist, that's important. How many different videos did you make? How many different images, illustrations, live streams? Taking account of your audience metrics, because those can be hard to keep track of and keep in your mind. And sometimes it can be difficult to see the progress of your work and to see what you're creating. So it's good to step back and do your best to visualize everything that you've done and to feel proud.
Do you have any of your illustrations for your novel available, easy to show, just to
yeah,
to show us?
sure, I can. I can show you. here's kind of a Halloween themed Northport 1999 hazmat guy.
Nice.
I don't necessarily have the most recent stuff easy to show, but here's something I co-created with Gus Trouth for a Christmas post posted just a few days ago. It's
Nice.
some of them. Yeah, so there you go.
Thank you. So as you can see, Bodie's Northport 1999 sci-fi thriller spy horror, whatever it is. It's all of those things. Novel of over 100,000 words was quite an accomplishment. So I really am proud of you, and I'm glad that you are appreciating yourself for what the effort you put out and what you've accomplished in the year that we're saying goodbye to, and moving forward into the new year. Proud of yourself and celebrating your accomplishments. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful way to go.
Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. Well, I want to try something with your computer where I have to restart your browser because it's coming through a little fuzzy, and I certainly don't want it to be difficult for people to see what you're creating.
Okay.
So maybe come in here for a minute and you can talk to the camera in here while I try to fix that.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't look wonderful. All right, so there you go.
All right. Well, here I am in the video studio office, Bodieland, and boy, I'm seeing so much technology in front of me. It's really kind of overwhelming. I'm glad that this is his job, and mine is pencils and pens and building things and making wardrobe and jewelry and home decor, because I'm more cut out for the hand. But he loves the technology, and I'm so grateful. It does take a team for us in this world. It does take a community to accomplish things. And it is really wonderful when we can combine our different loves and curiosities and skills to accomplish something that we couldn't do without the others' skill set being combined with our own. Creative collaboration is the way to go. And it is really something I'm very, very grateful that I did not anticipate my son would ask me to work with him, but I am so glad we have accomplished so much together. I'm very organized for an artist and methodical, because I think that's required. And he is very courageous in his following his curiosity and continuing to learn technology. So,
that's looking much sharper.
All right.
Great.
So I'm going to go back out.
Yeah, just have to reset the browser.
Okay. So
it's all you.
All right. So now I'm going to do this iris, and I'm going to share a couple things that I've learned, which is I use these little metal chopsticks to take a little bit of the paint out. I use these golden acrylics for stencils because the viscosity is perfect for stenciling. Every once in a while, I add a little bit of water if they get a little too thick. You want to make sure that you don't make them runny. They want to go. You want the paint to go right down where you put it. So I don't have a pink. So I made a pink. Obviously, one does that with white and red. This is my little color of the colors I have. let's put this under where you can see it. In the acrylics, I make this little key so I can easily find the number I want, the color I want to move quickly. So here is my little mix of pink that I'm going to do this iris in. Another thing I like to do and recommend is if you're going to do mix a number of different colors, start with the light one, because you can't, making it light again would take so much white paint, it could be very wasteful. So start with the light color and then get darker as you go. Stenciling is best most of the time when we do these up and down. So I'm just doing the flowers and the buds with the pink. And then I'm keeping the stencil nice and firm. The green I like, so we're going to just use that color. I also do this. I have a little teacup inside so that the brush doesn't fall over, but I don't have to use much pigment, so there's no waste. So I came up with this cup within the cup after these little teacups fell over a number of times and I got sick of that. So now I'm also going to add a little white because that green is a little intense for me. And that means I'm going to dip into, with the metal chopstick, lighten that up a bit. Oh yeah, that's nicer. And even that little bit of pink that was on the end of the metal chopstick is fine. It's a fine addition. Makes it a little brighter. So now we do sometimes you want to brush along, but this tapping down technique means you're not lifting the stencil and you're getting a slightly varied, which is very natural. When we look at a leaf, a blade of grass in nature, it's not a whole solid color. The light refracting off of it will make a stippled effect, which I think is very beautiful and makes it look more natural. So there we are. Ta-da! So let's go for another. Let us move on to, well, let's add some purple to this pink and do a purple rose. We have some red rose examples in the cards. So let's get some purple, which is here, and it's a very dense purple, so we don't want to use much. That's why I might have gotten a little bit much, but purple is beautiful, so I'm not going to worry about it. Sometimes, well, I guess I should say always, in creating, I love to go with it. My very, very first visual art form was Sumi brush painting, and I just did the 5 blades of grass exercise as a way to learn to relax with the brush in my hand. And mixing the Sumi ink and the Suzuri stone was very meditative, very centering. And so I love the meditation of doing art, the stillness, the presence. And I love to let it tell me what it wants to be. So go with it. I love to show you how quick and easy stenciling is, and one of the reasons it's the direction I chose to go. And we're going to add another, I think I'm going to add some yellow to this green. The reason I chose to go in the stencil direction is because I love helping other people get inspired to create, have fun creating, enjoy the expressing themselves, step into the flow, increasing happiness, proven to do so, and the expression of emotion. Any emotion, every emotion expressed stimulates our immune system. So creative expression can be a way to express any and every emotion. So I love helping people find that in themselves, give themselves permission to express themselves creatively, explore their own imaginations. It's why I started being a creativity coach, because people asked me to. Oops, I went off the edge there. But we'll figure out something nice to do with it. Instead of thinking of it as a mistake, it is an opportunity to be resourceful and do something that makes it look natural. Some of these stencils are cut very close to the edge, which I don't recommend. Give yourself more space than I have around the edges so that you don't go off like I just did so easily, or at all if you leave yourself enough room. So now let's do the peel and reveal. It's just a little shadow there, but I'm going to let it dry instead of putting this back down, and then I'll just add a little leafage there later, and it won't appear to be a mistake. So there we go. There's a purple rose. Ain't that pretty? Okay, let's see what we're going to do next. All right, let's go for a deep purple, because like I said, I like to just use the paint. And I have an anti-waste policy. So I'm going to get even more of this deep purple to add to that. So I try to start with the light color and then go darker and use up the paint instead of let it go to waste. I also like to try to see things around me as opportunities for creative expression, whether it's stones, feathers, reeds, grasses, whether I'm using it as a design element in a painting or drawing, or as I want it a little darker. Or whether it's material for a floral display, or a wind chime, or jewelry, or whatever. There's it is a fun, creative exercise to give ourselves the challenge of what can I use this for? And then go make something that uses that material that is a good challenge to our imaginations and expands our creative resourcefulness, our righteous resourcefulness, and keeps it out of the landfill and
Momentary technical difficulties here.
have. And I think you can nature, Mother Earth, it's our home. Let us treasure it. Let us treat it with respect. Let us appreciate this beautiful home we have, the only one we have that we are aware of in the heavenly body we can live on. And even if and when we become aware of other heavenly bodies we can live on or become scientifically sophisticated enough to make space stations.
Before you put that color on there, can I do something?
Sure.
Alrighty. I'm gonna have to restart your thing again. Not exactly sure what it is. We're testing the boundaries of technology here. It's just very pixelated. Not getting the full beauty of your art. So why don't you come in here with one of your finished pieces? Show it to the camera. Here she comes, everybody. Show us what you just created, and then I put the browser so that they can see you make the next one in crisp, clear colors.
All right, here's the pink iris I just did, the print from the stencil. And here's the purple rose. And while Bodhi tries to figure out what's happening with the technology, I'll just talk about stencils. The reason I decided to go in this direction is it's a way that I can share my designs inspired by nature and my love and appreciation for this beautiful world we live in on. And I can offer these through Bodhi's help, designs, and hopefully inspire and give you a way to use them to create clothes. Is it working?
Let's take a look.
Shall I go back out?
One moment. I'll let you know. Let's see how it looks. Much clearer.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so we've got an overhead camera so you guys can really see the detail of what she's stenciling. And then we've also got this wide camera to show you guys her technique from a different angle.
Okay, I'm going.
We are going. We are going. I would just say record.
You want me to hit something?
I'll do it for you.
You want me to hit something? It's amazing how confident I am about building, making, redesigning, using. But technology, I have to admit, doesn't come naturally to me. I did design my own website, but in a dream, of course. Wouldn't that make sense? I didn't build it though. I had to have somebody else build it when Bodhi was too young to help me yet. But he has since built me a web store that the prints that he has learned to make archival museum quality prints of my art. Well, look at that. Would you look at it? There you go. Ain't that pretty? Very delicate. Okay, let's see what we're gonna do next. Let's do this and let us
Really nice.
Add some red.
MMM said, Happy New Year, Claire, with a heart emoji.
Thank you. Happy New Year. May this year be full of splendid adventures and satisfying activities and peace and joy and all that good stuff. All right, so some red going into the purple. Immediately kind of a person. Green while you do. You hear me?
Yeah.
They can hear me. I'm adding yellow.
Don't you worry, guys. We're gonna get this sorted. We're getting this figured out one step at a time. I'm gonna come out here, and we're gonna switch. We're gonna switch the Wi-Fi network on the laptop. So that's one of the things we're doing in the new year is we're really expanding our capability here and we're pushing the boundaries. She's in the other room with her laptop and multiple cameras connected to it. I'm in here. So clearly we're going to have to figure out how to get an Ethernet cable from here where the internet is all the way out there to give her the most powerful internet connection. It might be that plugging two cameras into her laptop is causing a little bit of trouble. But one sec, I'll be right back. I'm going to go restart her laptop connection and hopefully we'll be working again. In my office. Don't worry, everybody. We'll be back. Hello. Let's see. Are we working? It's ambitious. It's ambitious. That's for sure. All right. It's looking good.
Yep, we're going.
Yep.
This is going.
As far as I can tell.
Okay. All right, now we're going to do this orchid with this very mauvey. Added some red to that purple. And here we go. Ooh, ooh. That's a rich color. So I like the surprises of using the paint I have and changing it up with the other pigments and keep being surprised. Instead of, I kind of go with my instincts well, I don't kind of, I definitely go with my instincts when I'm working. Just don't think too much about it. Just go with what feels right at the time. And sometimes it's much better than it would have been if I really would have tried to control it. And sometimes it's very different than I thought I wanted. And sometimes it takes me a while to even appreciate what came out being spontaneous, going with my instincts. But I find that sometimes years later I go, you know, that really was the way to go. And look at that. That's very delicate. All right, let's just keep going. How's it going in there?
Looks like it's working well.
Okay, so let's go for this guy. And I'm going to try something bold here and add some blue to that deep maroony and see if we can give it one more life here. There's some blue. Extend it a little further. And as I said, you know, start with the white and the teeny bit of red to make that soft pink. And then add a little bit of purple and then this deep blue is the last color I'm going to add to this because it really is intense and that's good. All right, here we go. Let's get this a little straighter and go for it. Woo! And then I changed the green a little bit just to give it a little variety. And sometimes, you know, when you add colors to this base paint, a little bit of variety comes out because a little bit of one color is on the brush here and another color there, and it gives it a more natural. Nature is not, you know, a static. It has a tremendous amount of harmonious variety in it. And balanced chaos. That's so close to the edge of this stencil. That was a
Brian said, Happy New Year. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian, Happy New Year. And when these stencils, as has happened, are cut too close to the edge, you can expand it with a little bit of tape, which means I like to be very conservative in what I use this acetate, not overdo it, use more than I need, but it can make it a little harder to work with the stencils if it's so close to the edge. You can go off the edge a little, as I did, teeny bit right there, but I'm not worried about it. Now I'm going to add white to this so that maybe I can see if I can.
DB Catalyst said, ooh, beautiful art. Love the flowers.
Who said?
DB Catalyst.
Thank you so much. I'm not going to stick the blue into the white because I do not want to contaminate it. And I'm going to start a new cup. And I'm going to put white in this cup and a little bit of that blue. Oh, yeah, there we go. Now we're going to get a nice light blue. And, you know, it's our creativity, so we get to do what we want with it. And so if we want to make a blue mum, we get to. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm giving myself permission to do what I feel like here. It's my fun. We've got the sun coming through that window, creating a bar across this. Is that a problem?
No.
So I'm doing a bunch of these because I wanted to demonstrate one of the reasons I'm so happy to make my stencils available for people is you can see how fast this can be to make greeting cards for any occasion, to make prints as gifts, to do outfits. Oh, we're going for this. And so it's a way I can offer my designs to people so they can use them any way they want and have fun with their creativity, figuring out uses and ways to use these designs. And when you think about, you know, the average card takes 2 minutes to make, and the pennies that the paint and the paper cost, and it's a handmade card. Each one will be different. Even if you try to make them the same, they will be slightly different. So each one of them is handmade and unique, and there will be treasured gifts or acknowledgments, thank you cards, graduation, anniversary, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever, congratulations on the birth of your child, whatever you want to use the cards for, they will be treasured because they're handmade. And they were made by your hands. And so when you think about the amount of time it takes to make them, 2 minutes, the penny, oops. Oh, I didn't wreck it. Thank goodness. The pennies in paint and paper that you spend on creating the card, and how much cards cost, and then how much do prints cost. You could make the decor for your home or office. You know, look how quick this happens. All right, so what are we going to add to this? I think I'm going to add a teeny bit of red, and then it'll be a light, a very light purple. Okay, now I'm going to wipe off my chopstick. So I don't want that dark blue in there. Might have been a little more red than I needed. But you can see why I use these chopsticks, because you don't need much paint. And so that's the whole idea, is to be conservative and not waste anything. We can help it. Okay, this is an interesting color. I like it. Kind of, sorry about that noise. The one little teacup inside the other, so that the brush doesn't fall over. Makes a pretty bad noise. So the sun is not, ooh, that's a really interesting color. Dusty rose. So it's
the iPhone looks great.
okay. Thank you. Not only am I doing how many have I done already here? Well, I'm going to put some more olivey in that. So I'm going to use a teeny bit of the blue. For the green on this orchid. Not only am I doing 2, 4, 6 so far, I'm on 7 in this amount of time while talking to show you how easy it can be. But I'm also mixing the colors, deciding, the colors in the moment to show you how spontaneous and fun. That's why playing is so fun, is that, there's no pressure. We get to just respond and follow our instincts and try things and not be something that came out of the what the fuck file and went into the well, isn't that funny file. It was a man who met me and said, he obviously had looked at my website, and it's the first time we're meeting, and he's there with his wife, and I don't know if he was showing off for her or jealous that I'm happy, and he wasn't. I don't have any idea what would inspire him to say, you've done so much, you must know what it's like to fail. The first thing he says to say to somebody that you're just meeting, put me in my place, whatever. Anyhow, I said to him, we look at life very differently. I never fail because I learn from everything I do. And even if it, I go off the stencil a little bit. Which one did I do that? It's so minor. I can't even see it now.
The purple rose.
Ooh, look at that. I'm an unusual artist. I'm organized and I like my own work. I've noticed over the years that that's unusual. Most artists don't like their own work, but I like my own work. So I get to. Okay, now what are we going to add to this? For this color, I think we're going to add a little kind of orange. And anyhow, I felt bad for that guy. I don't fail because I learn from everything I do. I enjoy doing it. And when skating, when I fall down, I try to melt so I never get hurt as I go down. And then it always makes me laugh. So I don't get mad at myself for falling. Well, I am just glad I'm proud of myself for trying something new. That's why I fell. And it's the same with art. If we're trying new stuff, we're gonna do unexpected things. But sometimes, as Picasso said something close to, I could draw like a master as a child, but it took me a lifetime to be able to draw like a child. So to let ourselves be free to play with the colors, to play with the form, to play with the way we use it. It's always slightly different, but that's okay. But it is different. We can see, this is kind of a good way to learn about paints and pigment and the spectrum, and is add a little bit of this to that and see how it changes it. And so we put it back in here so it doesn't fall over. And we're going to use this same green. Now, sometimes you want to dip, after you're done painting with your stencil, you want to put it in a flat pan like a cookie sheet and water so that the paint that you put on it, and sometimes if it's gold, the gold paint, I even pour the paint that comes off the stencil into a cup to use for another project. But you want to soak it so that the stencil cutaways don't keep getting thicker and paint on them, and then the space that the brush can go through gets thinner and thinner. Eventually, it might be too thin. So how's that? All right. So shall we go for 10? How are we doing on time?
It's 56 minutes right now, but go for whatever you want.
All right, I'm going to continue till I get all 10 done, and then we'll know how long it takes. So I'm looking at this pink going, I'm going to add some red to it. And so I want you to have fun. I want everybody to have fun. I want everybody to feel the peace, the happiness that comes from creating. The world would be safer. It's not completely selfless. The more people that are happy and serene, the safer we all are. And I love to help people feel safer to explore their own imaginations and to enjoy the creative process, to step into creative reverie, which is what got me through my dangerously dysfunctional childhood. Teens kept me going through taking in my drug addict sister's children and having to go to court battles with sometimes her drug addict, drug dealing friends threatening my life. All kinds of difficulties trying to help my nephews who had been abused and, of course, wounded by it, and give them a safe home. And no matter how difficult, even when I had both of them and my mother, I did my art, even if it was 5 minutes a day, because it kept me happy, it kept me hopeful. Ooh, that is really nice, isn't it? Like I said, I like my own work. What am I gonna do about it? You know?
Yeah.
And what am I gonna do? One more.
To the iPhone, they're upside down, so you can
Turn them around?
Well, you can just turn. Yeah, you don't have to do all of them.
I don't mind.
Yeah, we'll look at the laptop so you see what you can see.
Are they going correctly now?
Well, they're not in the frame. Just look at the laptop and then you can see.
Oh, well, there you go. That's an interesting idea. I can't really tell with all the rest of this light in this room.
Okay, it's looking good. It's looking real good.
All right. Well, I'm going to.
Another?
Huh?
Are you doing another?
I'm doing one more. If you could come out here, and if you don't need to be in there, you could arrange them back on the table so we can see them good at the end.
Okay.
How about that? All right, so I'm going to go for I'm gonna add a little yellow to this pink. It's a really pretty pink, but I'm going to take a little new brush and gonna add that to the green on this last one. So we added yellow to that pink, and now it's going to be an interesting, bright, kind of a salmon. And then I'm going to add this pink to this green. Okay, last one. And now, what's the best way to see them? Shall we take the stencils off here and put them back on this table?
I can just use the iPhone.
Okay.
I can point it at.
Okay, last one. And so we're going to tell them about the Patreon while I'm doing this last one. And these 10 stencils, you can buy them through my web store at about $3 a piece, right?
Correct.
Or on Patreon, but we're going to set up a Patreon membership where you get all of them. Ooh, see, I like my own work. What I really like is nature. And so these are all designs inspired by nature. And so it's kind of like, it's my way of celebrating the beauty, the serenity that nature offers all of us. Okay.
Really nice.
So there we go. And every time you use a stencil, you can use different colors. You can use pencils, pens. You don't have to use paints. And you can use them to trace or paint with these stipple brushes. What are they called? Cone brushes. And if you're looking for the cone brushes, the acetates or the Cricut cutter or the golden acrylic paints, if you go to
her YouTube, The Creativity Show, you'll be able to find links to all these products in the descriptions of her videos on YouTube, The Creativity Show.
There you go. Something else. Thank you, Brian, for suggesting that, and thank you, Bodhi, for setting that up. It's a way to make it simpler for people to find the tools that you need to do stenciling. So there we did 10 flowers on New Year's Day to show you how, while talking, mixing the paints in front of you. Oops, this one's over that one. We can, in about an hour, do these 10 prints, which would make beautiful wall art, book. You could put them in one big configuration, which I showed in the last live stream, or you could frame them separately and put them, fill a whole space with them. So that's your part. You get to have fun creating using the stencils any way you like, which is why I love offering the stencils, is my part of helping you have the fun of creating, the healing of expressing emotions while you're creating, and enhancing your life, walking lighter on the planet, stepping into the creative flow and increasing your happiness. So I hope there's something here that inspired you and informed you and helps you feel more confidence to give yourself permission to have fun with your imaginations. And
Joni Verva said, "You both rock. I love these stencils. Art makes me happy too. Happy New Year 2024. May it be filled with joy and magic."
thank you, thank you, thank you, Joni. And yes,
Back at you.
and back at you, and to everyone who tuned in, and hopefully you enjoyed it, and you tell a friend, and you get in touch. I love your comments, your questions, your feedback, and we're going to keep it going. I've changed the time till noon, so Mondays and Thursdays at noon Central Time. I'm just going to keep creating in front of the camera, keep sharing ideas, and I hope you're enjoying it, and I hope your year is full of creative adventure, and I hope you come back and see more. Happy New Year!
Okay, bye everybody.
Thanks, Bodhi.
Happy
Thanks,
to help.
everybody. Bye-bye.